Hello, everyone. It's time to tell you when you read, you will lead. Look at that picture right there. Look at all those children and those adults. That boy sitting right next to the tree and reading. That girl lying down and enjoying moving her legs up and down and getting drowned into fantasy. That girl on the right holding the book so close to her as a child and then once again as an adult. The thing is, when you read, you have to ask yourself, are you that kind of a reader? Well, before we go into all of that and before we find out how you will end up leading when you inculcate the habit of reading, let me tell you what to expect today. So, this is our agenda, and that is that light bulb which I'm hoping will glow. We will first talk about reading matters. Is that a question or a statement? Does reading matters? Or are we asking whether reading matters? Or are we going to talk about matters relating to reading? We will find out. Then we will talk about reading and creativity. Is it different? Is it similar? Is it a relationship that we need to understand more? We will find out. And last but not the least, read to lead is what we will do in this first module. Reading matters. The message, very simple, read the books. But that may be a misnomer. I'm going to start off with a simple question. Do you read? Do you read, ladies and gentlemen? I need honest answers. Do you read? How many of you read regularly, like every day? Can you say yes?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Okay, no problem, Rahul and Rakesh. Now, how many of you here do not read regularly? It's fine, nothing to be embarrassed about. Would you like to say that?
Yes, I am.
I am
Tasu,
not.
Chanda, you can just put it in the
Yeah.
chat and maybe someone can just get the names for me. Now, how many of you do not read regularly?
I am
Man,
not.
this is Arjit. So I read it. I don't read it from the books. I read it through online mediums. It can be anything. It can be either related to my profession or anything. I do read it,
Okay.
but it is not specific to any book which I
Hmm.
read. But I do read something or the other.
Okay. So I obviously was trying to confuse you, but you quite caught me, Arijit. So the thing is, we all read each and every day. We either read newspapers. Okay, not everyone reads books every day, but we read newspapers. We read Facebook posts. We read the comments on Instagram. We read the tweets on Twitter. We read for the job interview on LinkedIn. We try to read each other's expressions. We try to read into our future. Honestly, who doesn't read? Everyone, every day, in different ways, read. So the next time someone asks you, do you read? Ask them back, do you? Because reading is a part and parcel of life. And that is what this is all about. Let me quickly move on to the benefits of reading. Now, of course, this is not just books, but obviously, most of that starts off with a book that you have in a hand. It could be a physical book, it could be something on Kindle, it could be a blog, it could be an article, it could be a Facebook post, an Instagram post, it could be the subtitles for Parasite. It doesn't matter. When you are reading, you are reading. You are reading characters that together form words, that together form sentences, that together form images in your mind that transforms, that materializes, that metamorphoses, and that changes you permanently. What are the benefits of reading? There are multiple benefits of reading, but I'm going to talk about three. The first, ladies and gentlemen, mental stimulation. Readers in the room, how many of you have found mental stimulation while reading a book? Could you share an example very quickly? I think everybody is muted. Maybe someone can read out what has been mentioned in the chat.
I think mental stimulation. This is Arjit. Is something
Yes,
related
Archit.
to which uh,
Can you
makes
give
you
an
think.
example of
Kind
what
of a
kind of
fiction.
book? No. So, Arijit, can you give me an example of what kind of book gave you some kind of mental stimulation recently? Anything?
A
Some
mental simulation kind of which made me think. Like if I take an example of any
a
book,
book name,
like
just
like
one
the
book.
like Da Vinci Code, written by
Da
Dan
Vinci
Brown.
Code. Excellent. Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown is a thriller, and that is all about mental stimulation. You're always trying to guess what happens next, and your brain is really working. And it has been proved, ladies and gentlemen, when someone reads a book at night and next day when he wakes up, even though he read only for half an hour, maybe, the brain, the MRI scans are much better. Reading actually helps you to keep your mental muscles stronger. It helps you increase the elasticity in your mind. Reading is beneficial. It has tremendous health benefits. Can anyone tell me reading directly corresponds to which side of the brain? Is it the left side or the right side?
Left side.
What is the left side and what is the right side? What is analytical quality and what is creativity? Can someone tell me? Thank you,
Yes,
Ashar, for
yeah,
oil.
and I think it's
Yes.
the right. I think it's the right side. So right side involves with the creativity, right? So book
Okay.
helps us in a great way to think, to imagine, and to be a creative person.
Okay, very good. Now, how many of you think that no, maybe oil is not absolutely right? Maybe it's the left side. Think about reading a book by Simon Sinek. Think about analyzing things. I mean, do you not analyze when you read mathematics? Don't you read mathematics books? Aren't you analyzing? Hmm. Is it left side? Is it right side? Ladies and
I guess
gentlemen,
it's both.
breaking news. It's both sides. Reading is one of the only activities that really enhances your left side and your left right side, depending on what you're reading. If you're reading books about analytical quality, yes, it's a different side. If you're reading books for entertainment, yes, that's a different side. But benefits of reading is mental stimulation, no matter which side of the brain you pick up to stimulate. Remember when we do exercise, left, right, left, right, we exercise both our hands. We don't just exercise one side, and that is why reading is valuable. But that's not the only one. Improve focus and concentration. Remember when we are so lost in books that people think we have no focus, no concentration? You see, the primary objective of reading is to have concentration, is to have focus. If you can't focus on a book, if you can't concentrate on a book, there are very few things you can concentrate on. True story has happened to all of us. Reading improves your focus and your concentration because both focus and concentration is a must for reading. How many of you are focused and concentrated on reading? Or are you the kind of person who can just read while, I don't know, watching TV or something? Is that even possible properly?
So and I found that reading kind of is an alternative to meditation. So probably like many of us who do not get a chance to meditate daily, if we read books, it's kind of it kind of serves that purpose too. So yeah, definitely meditation
Absolutely.
also requires focus and concentration. So reading definitely requires that. But I also feel like when I'm not in a right frame of mind or I'm not really focused or concentrated, I cannot read a book, especially the difficult books where you need a lot of attention to put on each and every line.
Absolutely agree, Oyon. And this is something I really believe in. It irrespective of whether the chicken came first or the egg, whether focus and concentration came first and then reading, or reading and then focus and concentration. Reading, focus, and concentration are three sides to the same coin, the three dimensions. And finally, better writing skills. Well, don't be confused. We don't necessarily go to a gym to be a gym instructor, but actually, if you are a good reader, you will possibly be a good
It's
writer.
green card, 10 minutes.
Thank you. And that is what we really need to do. So we are at the fifth slide. We have 12 slides, so we are on time. So now I'm going to tell you a little bit about reading and creativity. The creative process involves reading and writing. But how is reading a part of this? Let me try and tell that to you right now. So I'm going to tell you the future and creativity. Industry 1.0 was about mechanization, steam, and power. Sorry, water power. Industry 2.0 was mass production and electricity. Industry 3.0 Electronic and IT systems, automation, that's where we started. But Industry 4.0, what you see right now, is about cyber physical systems. The chief human resources, read what is there on the screen right now. Chief human resources and strategy officers from leading global organizations analyze the shifts and the trends in terms of disruptive thinking and the fourth industrial revolution. The results were published by the World Economic Forum and compared the kind of skills that are required in 2020 to the skills that are required in 2015. In just 5 years, do things change? And the results, ladies and gentlemen, are as follows. In 2015, the top 10 skills: number one, complex problem solving, cooperating with others, people management, critical thinking, negotiation, quality control, service orientation, judgment and decision making, active listening, and creativity. Number 10. However, in 2020, wham, this is it. The top three are complex problem solving, critical thinking, and creativity. Hmm, complex problem solving, critical thinking, creativity. You know what? Reading can actually help you in all three of them at the same time. And that is how you need to read in order to lead, be it in your personal life or your professional life. So, I'm going to now tell you how exactly to get those light bulbs on. And to do that, I'm going to take the example of a study by Michigan State University. Now, Michigan State University had a study sometime 2 years back, 2017, September 14th, and they said that chronic warriors like that woman in that picture, take note, you know what? Just 8 minutes of creative writing, expressive creative writing every day helped you solve problems much better. And the research founded and said, worrying takes up cognitive resources. It's kind of like people who struggle with worry are constantly multitasking. They are doing one task and trying to monitor and suppress their worries all at the same time. And the findings showed that if you get these worries out of your head through expressive writing, these cognitive resources are freed up to work towards the task you're completing and you become more efficient. See, I just read that, and that is the truth. So read and write. You don't have to become an author. You don't have to go to the gym to become a gym instructor. Just have the kind of body that can be shown off for the right reasons and at the right places. Yeah, remember that. So read and write to be happy, healthy, and creative, and to ensure your skills are enhanced no matter what you do, no matter how you do. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't believe me, I'm going to take you to the previous slide and remind you. Complex problem solving, critical thinking, creativity. So when you read and when you write, how can these things improve? We have a slide that will tell you how both of them can come together so that when you read, you will lead. But before I tell you that, I'm going to ask you a simple question. What, as per you, ladies and gentlemen, makes a leader? How would you define a leader? I'm not talking about a good leader or a bad leader. What, as per you, is a leader? Would you like to tell me? Rakesh, why don't you try?
Yes, leaders are someone who can lead or solve complex problems, such as, for example, Modi. Narendra Modi is a leader for us because he is solving a complex pandemic.
I will ask you to pause right now. Narendra Modi is an example of a leader. Who is a
Yeah.
leader? How do I know? Like if you ask, tell me, Samantha is a leader. How do I know Samantha is a leader? It's a very simple term. Who is a leader? Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. Just one word.
Who initiates?
Someone who initiates is an initiator, Sonika. Who is a leader?
who can take quick decisions.
Someone who can
Shubham
commit.
says one by one. Shubham
Who
says you
leads?
can take quick decisions. Devender, what is your answer?
Visionary, I
Who
said.
can
15
A
minutes amber
visionary.
card.
Someone who is a visionary is a visionary. A visionary
15
will
who
minutes
can
amber card.
who can guide people to their goals and to their goals.
who can guide people to their goals. Someone
the
who is a
person
mentor, maybe.
the person who work for the upliftment of others.
The
A
person who
leader
works
is
for
the
the
one.
upliftment of others is an example of a service leader. There are examples of leaders. The answer I'm looking for, think about it, ladies and gentlemen, is
A leader is
Leader
the
who
Ayan,
one.
a
leads.
leader
leader
is
is
a
someone who has.
Who leads?
Sorry,
A
Vimanyu,
follower.
tell me.
A leader is the one who has the followers.
Ah, you were there in one of my workshops. I hate you.
Yup, yup, yup. And at
Yeah.
that time also I gave a correct answer.
Yeah, you reminded that, I know. So thank you so much, Vimanyu. You are quite right. You are like the Abhimanyu. You know how to get in but not to get out. I hope not. No, I'm just joking. A reader is someone who has followers. I'm not talking about whether you're a good leader or a bad leader. If you are a leader and if you have followers, you are a leader. If no one is following you, you are not a leader. And let me tell you how you can be a better leader when you are a better reader. Reader, leader, see, it almost rhymes. If you are a reader and if you read books properly, you will find out to create an emotional outlet and let go. How many of you, after reading a book, felt emotional? While reading a book, did you feel tension? While reading a book, did you feel happiness? While reading a book, did you smile? Did you get angry? Did you get jealous? Did you feel these expressions and emotions? Think
Yes,
about
I
it.
did.
You
Yes.
did. And because you felt these emotions, it resonated with you and you were able to let go. When you read and when you write, you are able to create an emotional outlet to let go. That is why reading is supposed to be so cathartic. It allows you to let go of the emotions you're holding on to. Develop self confidence and identity. Reading makes you knowledgeable, and knowledge is power. Of course, unless you're reading from the WhatsApp University, knowledge is true power. So when you read, you become a better leader because you are more knowledgeable, you're more confident, and you have your own identity. Remember, it's our education which we got through reading that gave us the degrees. And so we call ourselves doctors and engineers and whatever we are. A lot of it came through reading. Not all of it, but a lot of it. Give wing. Remember the wing to your imagination? It's very easy to enjoy a TV show. How many of you here enjoyed Game of Thrones or have seen the movies of Harry Potter? Yeah, did you enjoy the Harry Potter films or Game of Thrones? Can we
Very
have a
much.
yes? Very
Yes,
much.
very much.
Remember how it began? It began as a book. If there was no book, if the costume designer, if the art director, if the cinematographer had not imagined, it wouldn't have been there. It was because of J.K. Rowling that you were able to enjoy the films of Harry Potter. Give wing to your imagination, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be fixed as to what is given to you. In your imagination, you can be Harry Potter. You can be whoever you want to be. You can be a leader, you can be a bird, you can be a monster, you can be a human, you can be a killer, you can be a lover, you can be anything you want to be within the pages of the book. You can go to countries, you can go to galaxies, you can go to places people cannot imagine by the power of your imagination. Give wing to your imagination. Read. Only then will you be able to come up and lead by giving imaginative solutions. Next, learn how to organize your thoughts. Reading teaches you about the elements, the key elements of creative writing. Plot. What's the plot? Setting. Where is the setting?
19
Conflict.
minutes, red card.
Thank you. Conflict. What is the conflict and how do you overcome conflict? When you read and your thoughts go crazy, and when you learn how to organize your thoughts by first reading and then writing, you will become a better leader because at the end of the day, you will have thought leadership. Can someone tell me what is thought leadership? Shubham?
Churning out new thoughts is uh, like thought leadership.
Very close, but because we don't have a lot of time, when your thoughts lead others to change their thoughts or come up with new thoughts, that is known as thought leadership. And that happens by reading because someone somewhere thought about it, wrote about it, and that's how the world changed. Can anyone give me one inspirational quote that made them change the world or made them change the way they look at things? Any one inspirational quote that you read somewhere?
Churchill's quote,
Yes, please,
like
Shubham.
okay, so like it was about the failure. So like it said, like a success is not a final, and a failure is not
Not fatal.
yes,
Yes.
and
Success is not final, failure is not fatal. Ladies and gentlemen, an example of thought leadership. Can someone else give me another example? Thank you so much, Shubham.
Steve Jobs, only those who think that they can change the world can actually do.
Thank you so much, Akanksha. Steve Jobs said it somewhere. Someone turned it into a beautiful quote. You read it or you heard it. And that is why it sticks to your mind. Remember, it all came because you wanted to read into someone's way of thinking. At the end of the day, if you really want to read, you have to begin by leading. Sorry, by reading. Reading, leading, everything is synonymous. Whether you're reading to gain knowledge or whether or reading to gain information, reading will help you lead others to their destinations towards the right directions. And in the process, may you lead yourself into the future. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I hope the light bulbs are glowing and I hope you are ready to read, to lead. All the best, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ayan, for that lovely, lovely, thought-provoking session. It was amazing. But again, it's very important to understand that whatever Ayan said, it's theory. Now we get into another very important part that is practical. So what we'll do is we'll start with our exercise, which is called the reading exercise. In this reading exercise, what will happen is we'll randomly, so what you need to do is you need to raise your hand and I will choose people. And what that person has to do is that person has to read 2 pages. Once you have read those 2 pages, you'll be asked to summarize in 30 seconds. Our timer, Gaurav, will go ahead and let you know if when 30 seconds are over. So what I would request is the first person who's going to read, thank you, I get that opportunity. Uh, I get that opportunity to be the first person to read. And once I have read, and once I have given my summary, I would request for volunteers. And if you want to read, please go ahead and read. So we'll carry on this exercise for another 20 minutes. Once we are done with this, the last 10 minutes will be a question and answer with no other than Toastmaster Ayan Pal. So if you have any questions, he'll be there to answer those questions as well. So are we excited to start with our reading activity? Please give me a thumbs up. Show me love.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Great. Thank you so much. Um, Toastmaster Rahul, if you are ready, can you go ahead and show that reading slide, please? Thank you. And let me know from where do we have to start, how to rally those who believe. Is that correct, Toastmaster Rahul?
Yes, yes.
Sure. So if you can flip the page. Passport. Great. So let me start. Thank you so much. Let me start. Start with why, but know how. Ra, with a roar. Steve Ballmer, the man who replaced Bill Gates as CEO of Microsoft, burst onto the stage of the company's annual Global Summit meeting. Ballmer loves Microsoft. He says so in no uncertain words. He also knows how to pump up a crowd. His energy is almost polarity. He pumps his fist and runs from one end of the stage to the other. He screams and he sweats. He is remarkable to watch and the crowd loves it. As Ballmer proves without a doubt, energy can motivate a crowd. But can it inspire a population? What happens the next day or the next week when Ballmer's energy is not there to motivate the employees? Is energy enough to keep a company of about 80,000 people focused? In contrast, Bill Gates is shy and awkward, a social misfit. He does not fit the stereotype of the leader of a multi-billion-dollar corporation. He's not the most energetic public speaker. When Bill Gates speaks, however, people listen with bated breath. They hang on his every word. When Gates speaks, he doesn't rally a room, he inspires it. Those who hear him take what he says and carry his words with them forever. Now, can you flip the page? Carry for weeks, months, or years. Um, Gates doesn't have energy, but Bill Gates inspires. Energy motivates, but charisma inspires. Energy is easy to see, easy to measure, and easy to copy. Charisma is hard to define, near impossible to measure, and too elusive to copy. All great leaders have charisma because all great leaders have clarity of why, an undying belief in a purpose or cause bigger than themselves. It's not Bill Gates' passion for computers that inspires us. It is his undying optimism that even the most complicated problems can be solved. He believes we can find ways to remove obstacles, to ensure that everyone can live, and work to their greatest potential. It is his optimism to which we are drawn. Living through the computer revolution, he saw the computers as a perfect technology to help us all become more productive and achieve our greatest potential. That belief inspired his vision of a PC on every desk to come to life. Ironic considering Microsoft never even made PCs. It wasn't just what computers did that Gates saw the impact for the new technology. It was why we needed them. Today, the work he does with Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has nothing to do with software, but it is another way he has found to bring his why to life. Um, Rahul, do you want me to continue or should I stop here?
I think 2 pages are done for you.
My sure. Thank you so much. So I'll quickly go ahead and explain. God of my 30 seconds, please start, okay? So out
Yes.
here, thank you so much. Out here, this is something which is very important. Now, it is very easy to become a victim of stereotypes. What is the stereotype of a great leader? A great leader has to be a great public speaker. And what if you are not a great public speaker? Would you still be tagged as a great leader? This is an interesting question. Well, we have someone who can be described as a misfit when it comes to public speaker. We have a very famous Bill Gates. He is definitely not one of the energetic ones, but he can give everyone a run for their money. What is that one quality that
Absolutely.
Bill Gates has? It's his charisma. Thank you. Can I have volunteers? Can you please raise your hands? Just raise your hand and I'll come to know. I'm looking at the participants. And if I see any hand raised, we have this option to raise hand. I would request you to raise your hand. Great. So I have Rohan Bansal. Rohan Bansal,
Yes, hi.
thank you so much. Rohan, if you're ready, can you see the screen?
Yes, I can see it.
Great. Rohan, can you please start? Do you know where I have left? I've left it. He brings his why to light. It's
Just a
the
second.
last line. He is looking for ways to solve problems. So
It's
we
starting from and unless.
uh,
Okay, got it. Got it.
okay.
Sure. Thanks.
So if you can start from there, Rohan, that would be great. So Rohan, whenever you are ready, can you please start?
Yeah, I'm starting. He is looking for ways to solve problems. He still has an undying belief. And he still believes that if we can help people, this time those with less privilege, remove some seemingly simple obstacles, then they too will have an opportunity to be more productive and lift themselves up to achieve their great potential. For Gates, all that has changed is what he is doing to bring his cause to life. Charisma has nothing to do with energy. It comes from a clarity of why. It comes from absolute conviction in an ideal bigger than oneself. Energy, in contrast, comes from a good night's sleep or lots of caffeine. Energy can excite, but only charisma can inspire. Charisma commands loyalty. Energy does not. Energy can always be injected into an organization to motivate people to do things. Bonuses, promotions, other carrots, and even a few sticks can get people to work harder for sure. But the gains are, like all manipulations, short term. Over time, such tactics cost more money and increase stress for employee and employer alike, and eventually will become the main reason people show up for work every day. That's not loyalty. That's the employee version of repeat business. Loyalty among employees is when they turn down more money or benefits to continue working at the same company. Loyalty to a company trumps pay and benefits. And unless you're an astronaut, it's not the work we do that inspires us either. It's the cause we come to work for. We don't want to come to work to build a wall. We want to come to work to build a cathedral. Should I continue?
Rahul, should he continue?
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay. The Chosen Path. Raised in Ohio, 60 miles from Dayton, Neil Armstrong grew up on a healthy diet of stories about the Wright brothers. From a very early age, he dreamed of flying. He'd make model airplanes, read magazines about flying, and stare at the heavens through a telescope mounted on the roof of his house. He even got his pilot's license before he got his driver's license. With a childhood passion that became reality, Armstrong was destined to become an astronaut. For the rest of us, however, our career paths are more like Jeff Sumter's. While Sumter was in high school, his mother arranged for him to get a summer internship at the bank where she worked. 4 years after he finished high school, he called the bank to see if he could do some part time work, and they eventually offered him a full time job. Whammo! Jeff's got a career as a banker. In fact, after 15 years in the industry, he and a colleague by the name of Trey Moust went on to start their own bank, Lewis and Clark Bank in Portland, Oregon.
Thank you so much, Rohan. Can you please give a summary in 30 seconds?
Sure. So the author here is talking about the difference between energy and charisma. Energy is built on a very short term motive, a very short term perspective, whereas charisma is built on why. Simon Sinek goes on to describe how Bill Gates has charisma because his why is strong. But companies often promote, try to motivate the employees with energy, with short term benefits like bonuses or other
30
remuneration.
seconds over.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Rohan. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Can I have some volunteers? If you can raise your hand, I can quickly pick you up. I'm looking for hands. Thank you. So it's Abhishek Nishad. Abhishek, thank you so much for volunteering. We are at the last
Yeah,
sentence.
yeah,
That is
yeah, yeah.
Samsar, okay?
Okay. Thank you, Abu. Uh,
Thank you, Abhishek.
Sumter is very good at what he does. He's been one of the, can you turn the page? One of the top performing loan officer throughout his career. He is well liked and well respected among his colleagues and clients. But even Jeff will admit that he doesn't have much of a passion for banking per se, though he is not living out his childhood dream. He is passionate for something. It's not what he does that gets him out of bed every morning. It's why he does it. Our career paths are largely incidental. I never planned to be doing what I'm doing now. As a kid, I wanted to be an aeronautical engineer, but in college, I set my sight on becoming a criminal prosecutor. While I was in law school, however, I've been disillusioned with the idea of being a lawyer. It just didn't feel right. I was at law school in England, where the law is one of the last truly English professions. Not wearing a pin-strip suit to an interview could hurt my chances of getting a job. This was not my cup of tea. I happened to be dating a young woman who was studying marking at Syracuse University. She could see what inspired me, what frustrated me about the law, and suggested I try my hand in field and Vomo. I I would I would gotten myself a new career in marketing. But that's just one of the things I have done. It's not my passion, and it's not how I define my life. My cause to inspire people to do the things that inspire them is why I get out of bed every day. The excitement is trying to find new ways, different what's to add cause to life, of which this book is one. Regardless of what we do in our life, Our why, our driving purpose, cause of belief never changes. If our uh, golden circle is balanced, what we do is simply the tangible way we find to breathe life into the cause. Developing software was merely one of the little things Bill Gates did to bring his cause to life. And airlines gave Hub Kelleher the perfect outlet to spread his belief in freedom. Putting a man on the moon was one goal John F. Kennedy used to rally people to bring to his life. His belief that service to nation and not being serviced by the nation would lead America to advance and prosper. Apple gave Steve Jobs a way to challenge the status quo and do something big in life. All the things these charismatic leaders did were the tangible ways they found to bring their ways to life. But none of them could have imagined what they would be doing when they were young. When a why is clear, those who
Thank you,
shared.
Abhishek.
Okay. Yep.
Sure. Abhishek, can you please give a quick 30 minutes summary as to what you read?
So I'll sum up this in one line. Author is trying to say like uh, we should be in the profession like we should always follow a passion like that we should get ourselves into a job or doing something that interests us that we are excited to do that makes us like wake up early like oh I'm going to do this today that excites us so do that thing in life.
30
Yep.
seconds up.
uh, yep, Abu. Hello. Hello, Abu, can you hear me?
Can you unmute yourself?
I'm unmuted.
Thank you. Abhishek Rana, I would request you to please start. Do you know from where you have to read?
I'm here. Good evening to everyone.
Sure. So please start with when a why is clear. Can you please start from when a why is clear?
Yeah, when a why is clear, those who share that belief will be drawn to it and maybe want to make it a part and take part in bringing it to life. If that belief is amplified, it can have the power to rally even more believers to raise their hands and declare, I want to help. With a group of believers all rallying around now please flip the page. Amplify the source of inspiration. The golden circle is not just a communication tool. It also provides it also provides some insight into how great organizations are organized. As we start to add dimension to the concept of the golden circle, it is no longer helpful to look at it as a purely two-dimensional model. If it is to provide any real value in how to build a great organization in our very three-dimensional world, the golden circle needs to be three-dimensional. The good news is it is. It is, in fact, a top down view of a cone. Turn it on its side and you can see its full wall, a full value. Then it shows the cone represents a company or an organization, an inherently hierarchical and organized system. Sitting at the sitting at the top of the system representing Y is a leader in the case of a company. That's usually the CEO, or at least we hope it is. The next level down, the how level, typically includes the senior executives who are inspired by the leader's vision and know how to bring it to life. Don't forget that a why is just a belief. How are the actions we take to realize that belief, and what's are the results of those actions? No matter how charismatic or inspiring the leader is, if there are not people in the organization inspired to bring that vision to reality, to build an infrastructure with some systems and processes, then at best, inefficiency reigns, and at worst, failure results. In this rendering, the how level represents a person or a small group of responsible for building the infrastructure that can make a why tangible. That may happen in marketing, operations, finance, human resources, and all that the other suits departments. Beneath that, at the what level, is where the rubber meets the road. It is at this level that the majority of the employees sit and where all the tangible stuff actually happens.
Thank you so much, Abhishek. Abhishek, you get 30 seconds. Would you like to summarize in 30 seconds what you read?
Yeah, the author here talks about a golden cone where he starts with why, and then he says that there are the employees at the down level which executes the work which is given by the leader, and the efficiency of the staff decides how much the objective can be achieved. And it says that we need to have efficient staff, because if the efficient team is not there, the inefficiency will reign, and the task
30 seconds
ultimately
over.
will not be achieved.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Abhishek. Greatly appreciated. So
Thank you.
we will now have the last reader. Can I please see a raise of hand for the last speaker? Last reader. Any show of hands? Any volunteers? Great. I have Sonika. Sonika, could you?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Uh,
I
would
have
you
a
be?
dream.
Yep. Please start.
I have a dream and he's got the plan. Dr. King said he had a dream and he inspired people to make his dream their own. What Ralph Abernathy learned the moment was something else. He knew what it would take to realize that dream, and he showed people how to do it. He gave the dream structure. Dr. King spoke about the philosophical implications of the movement, while Abernathy, Dr. King's one time mentor, long-time friend, and financial secretary and treasurer of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, would help people understand the specific steps they needed to take now. They needed to take. Now, Abernathy would tell the audience following a rousing address by Dr. King, "Let me tell you what that means for tomorrow morning." Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was the leader, but he did not change America alone. Though Dr. King inspired the movement, to actually move people requires organizing. As is the case with almost all great leaders, there were others around Dr. King who knew better how to do that. For every great leader, for every Y type, there is an inspired how type of how types who take the intangible cause and building. Please flip the page. Uh, the infrastructure that can give it life. That infrastructure is what actually makes any measurable change or success possible. The leader sits at the top of the cone at the start, the point of why, while the how types sit below and are responsible for actually making things happen. The leader imagines the destination and the how types find the route to get there. A destination without a route leads to meandering and inefficiency, something a great many Y types will experience without the help of others to get to ground them. A route without a destination, however, may be efficient, but to what end? It's all fine and good to know how to drive, but it's more fulfilling when you have a place to go. For Dr. King, Ralph Abernathy was one of those he inspired and who knew how to make the cause actionable and tangible. Dr. King's job was to interpret the ideology and theology of nonviolence, said Abernathy. My job was more simple and down to earth. I would tell people, don't write those buses.
Thank you, Sonika. Sonika, would you be kind enough to give a summary in 30 seconds?
Yeah, what I understood is uh, we always start with with our why, and why, who starts why, with why is the leader. But whatever we start can't be done without knowing how to do that. So with every leader we need someone who tells how to do that, how to take actions so that we can achieve that thing. So here, according to the hierarchological, the triangle, there first one who starts the cause
30
is
seconds
why,
over.
then one tells how to achieve that thing, I think.
That's wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, all you dear readers. Now we have the last 10 minutes, and these 10 minutes will be, we have to achieve two goals. Our first goal is we have had some readers today, and it would be very kind if you can vote for the best reader. So, Toastmaster Param is going to share the link. He has already shared the link in most of our all of our accounts. You just need to go ahead and vote for the best reader. Apart from that, it is also an opportunity. We have a very famous personality, that is Ayan Paul. The remaining 10 minutes can be utilized if you have any questions that you want to ask him. So let's utilize the time. And please, you can just raise your hand, or if you want to send a chat, we'll go ahead and we'll ask your question.
So I think Kasun has already asked me a question in the chat.
Mhm.
Okay, so maybe you can just moderate and let me know what are the questions, because some of them have come over private chat. Let me see. Okay, it says, hello, Ayan. I'm Kasun from Sri Lanka. I have a question on reading. I'm not a day-to-day reader and I want to build reading enthusiasm within me. As beginner, how can I do that? What are the things that I can do? I would say start with the basics. I always feel comics are a great place to start. So just read the newspaper and go to the comic section, read the comics, and then see if you can read from there a comic book, like say a Tinkle, and then see whether from there you can go on to something further, like say a graphic novel. So build it slowly. For example, when we started learning, we started with not the essays of Shakespeare, not the plays of Shakespeare, but with the alphabets A, B, C. Reading is also like that. Start with the simple things that you like, short stories. Maybe go to websites and try things like short fiction, like terribly tiny tales and stuff like that. That is how you can slowly build your reading habits. When it interests you, you want more, and when you want more, reading will no longer be a chore. Thank you. Any other question, anyone? Rakesh has raised his hand. Rakesh?
Yes, Toastmaster Ian, my question is I read lots, but the impact of that reading does not last long. After 4 or 5 days, I feel that why I have read. So that is my question.
Good.
Impact.
So the
Yes.
impact of what you're reading does not last long. Without judging you for what you're reading, you have to understand why you're reading. Reading is not only to have a long lasting impact, reading is also to enjoy the things in the present moment. So what do you read? Do you read fiction or non-fiction?
Uh, Mostly non-fiction, and
That's the point.
sometimes, yeah.
I think that is sometimes the point. Reading is probably something that you're doing to pressurize yourself and to learn something. Remember, all work, no play makes Jack a dull boy. Our school and our childhood was interesting because not only did we study, which was obviously important, but because we also played. Where is your break? Take a break from heavy duty reading to read light stuff. Because please understand, reading is just like everything else. If you keep doing it just to learn something, it might get very difficult to for it to last. So do it in the right way. You also need to sharpen your axe. So maybe change the kind of read and see if you can read and see if that has an impact.
Okay, thank you.
Shubham has asked, thank you. Shubham has asked, could you please tell something about the books that you have penned? Okay, something like what? The names of the books? Is that what you're asking, Shubham? I'm not sure. Okay, I'm just going to assume. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes. Like the names as well as like the summary.
Okay, I would.
I mean, like a
Okay,
brief
I would
summary
like
of.
to talk about two books. One of them is Crossed and Knotted, which made into the Limca Book of Records, which is a composite novel. It's a very unique piece in which all the chapters can be read as short stories. It's written by several authors who together, when you read the stories, it forms a novel. So that's India's first composite novel. And I would like to talk about Confessions on an Island, which is obviously my favorite book. Is the highest rated psychological thriller of the decade as per Goodreads. It has an average rating of, I think, 4.8 or 4.9 with more than 70 reviews. It's a highest rated novel, and it was also chosen by Dainik Jagran or Dainik Bhaskar as the book of the year. So Confessions on an Island is about a man, a woman, and an island. It's written in first person and second person, wherein the novel is in the odd chapters, and in the even chapters, they tell stories to each other. So it's inspired by Arabian Nights, and just go and check it out on Amazon. You would probably enjoy it if you like things that are thrilling and unpredictable, and you don't know how things go. But I must warn you, it's an erotic thriller, definitely not for children. Now, Vimanyu has asked, how can I instill reading habit among my club members? Any tip on that? Vimanyu, reading has to come from within. You cannot force someone to read. That having been said, if you have read something and you have liked it, talk about it, share about it. Say, you know what, I read this book and I loved it. Why don't you try and give him that book or tell him about that comic book, whatever it is. The only way you make someone like something is to share it with them. You like a particular kind of food, give it to them. They'll eat it and they like it. It's as simple as that. When it comes to instilling reading habits, sharing is caring. Always remember that. Okay. So Akanksha Chaudhary asks me, what are you currently reading, Ayan, and who is your favorite author? Good question. So my favorite author at the moment, of course, it keeps changing. One of them is J.K. Rowling, and many others. Right now, I am loving the work of Neil Gaiman. So I was just reading a book on Norse mythology by him. I'm also a big fan of Rick Riordan, and I love his books. Right now, the last thing I read was a copy of Tinkle. I'm reading Tinkle so that my daughter picks up reading habits from me. So she gets very excited when she sees that Baba is reading something. She's 3.5 years old, and I don't think she can read much else. So for her, I'm reading a lot of Tinkle. So whenever I travel somewhere, I pick up a copy of Tinkle and read that. And how to bring voice modulation in speeches. Thank you. So Rahul Sharma is back to business. Now let me tell you something about reading and about learning. There are four kinds of learners. The first kind is auditory, wherein you learn and you remember things based on whether or not you have listened to that. The second kind is visual, people who learn by looking at pictures and people who learn by reading. The third type is kinesthetic, they need to do things to be able to learn. And the fourth kind is tactile, they need to feel things to be able to do that. When you read with the right kind of voice modulation, not only are you activating your reading senses because you're reading from somewhere, you're also activating your auditory senses because you're listening to your own voice. You're also activating your kinesthetic senses because the act of reading out loud is kinesthetic. A lot of people read out loud with certain movements. And finally, tactile. When you read out loud and people react to you and you hear your own voice, you emotionally connect. So auditory, visual, kinesthetic, tactile, all of that gets activated. And now let me tell you, as per psychology Herabian, content or the words is only 7%. The remaining 93% is a combination of body language and voice modulation. How do you include voice modulation? There is a very, very good project on voice modulation called Composite Novel. It's a book for teen pathways. It's in level 3. It is one of the electives in level 3. I highly recommend that you go through that project and see how Toastmasters recommends that. I also have modules on voice modulation, but obviously looking at the time might not be able to do that.
So it's 10 minutes. I
Thank you.
am.
And I've had my last question answered. Oh, wait, there's just Rahul one last question. Last question. How come a speaker like you, I am, be honest in answering golden rules, please? How to become a speaker like you? You have to start admitting and accepting the speaker that you are. I am not like anyone else. I'm like myself. So don't try to be like someone else. Instead, be the next Ayan. Be the first Rahul. Simple, believe in what you do, find out what you like, and speak about what really touches you. And that will strike a chord. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Namaste, namaskar, salam alaikum. To everyone joining in from everywhere. Hope you had a wonderful session.
Yes, absolutely. I would also like to take this as an advantage, and I would like to thank you for coming and speaking. There is also something that everybody would be glad to hear, that today is International PR Day. And I would say
Yes,
that
I know.
today
No,
is
no.
International PR Day, Public Relation Day. And And today, the person that I would like to take and acknowledge his hard work is no other than Toastmaster Paramjot Singh. This is his brainchild. He has done a lot of amazing work. And above all, this particular poster that you see has been selected as one of the best posters from the PR committee. What we would request is you will like and comment. So this particular picture has been noted as one of the pictures, and it can be the best picture if we go ahead and if we like and if we add our comments to it. So please go on Facebook on South Delhi Toastmasters. You will find this. He has also, my Toastmaster Paramjot will also share the link.
Abu, I've already shared the link. I've already shared the link, and
It's in the chat.
and
It's
in the
there on the
WhatsApp
chat.
group also.
Thank you so much, Param. You have always been proactive. That's one of the best things. And today we also have a winner who has been declared as the person who spoke well, who read well, and as well as gave a good summary. Let's give an applaud for Rohan Bansal. Rohan, great news. You will be made popular, a celebrity on all our social media handles.
Thank you.
On that note, I'm sure if you people know that Ayan, I know there are a lot of people who have multiple questions, but again, time is always a very expensive commodity. But Ayan is somebody who is extremely approachable. Please feel free to ping him, and I'm sure he will be there to answer all your queries.
So what I can do is, Abu, if you can share the Facebook post of mine about this session, you can
Sure.
probably post your questions over there, and I would like to take it forward. So thank you so much, everyone. Keep reading, keep leading, and keep listening to yourselves because your heart can never be wrong. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Wow,
Ayan.
that's
Thank you,
wonderful.
Ayan.
Abu, just one
Thank
thing
you so
I
much,
just
sir.
want to tell everybody that this poster is not only the work is done by me. Toastmaster Rahul and I have done this in a teamwork form way, and he's the one who has created this and beautified this poster. So I I am equally like this. This poster is being created by both of us. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for ensuring that you share the name. So thank you, Rahul Sharma, and thank you, Paramjot Singh. Thank you, everyone, for coming here. Let's go out. Let's read more. Let's lead more. Above all, let's go to our Facebook profile and please like the honest work of everyone. Thank you, Ayan, once again, and have a wonderful, wonderful evening ahead. That will be
Thank you.
all from our end, and we officially close this meeting today. Thank you so much, people.
Thank you. Thank you, Ayan.
Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for
Thank
the
you,
session.
everyone.